Going to part 2 for module 7, we are dealing with slope. The biggest thing we need to know is that when we're talking about slope, it's actually like the elevation of a house, like the roof, or elevation on a treadmill. If you're driving up north, you'll see on the streets that they'll actually have something for the truck drivers to tell them how steep it is for when they're dealing with ice. So there's two ways you can find slope. These need to be memorized. The first one is if you're given 2 points, you're going to use this formula that is in the box. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x of 1. It is important that the points go together. It doesn't matter which one you call point 1 or point 2, but from the bottom up should be a point. And you should always be subtracting the two pieces. You'll sometimes see math people write it change in y over change in x because that's what you're doing. That triangle means change. Find the difference. The second way is if you're given an equation. If you are given an equation, you have to put it in the form of y equals mx plus b. The coefficient in front of the x is your slope. This is called slope-intercept form. It's really important that you understand that slope is a number. It can be negative, positive, it can be a decimal, it can be a fraction. When it's in the form of y equals mx plus b, the coefficient of x is my slope, and the point 0, comma b is my y-intercept. So before we go to some examples, I just want to again look at the special cases as well. But I like to also be able to look at a picture of a linear equation and determine if my sign should be positive or negative. So I suggest thinking about skiing on the line or walking on the line. On this first one, if you're walking, you are walking uphill. So this is a positive slope. On my second line, if I were walking, I'm walking downhill, so this is a negative slope. My two special cases, I've told you to draw the picture out. Automatically, write out your horizontal line, your vertical line. This first one has a y-intercept, right? So that's why it's y equals. This one has a x-intercept, that's why it's an x equals line. Easy way to remember it. In this case, on my horizontal line, I can walk. I don't change elevation, so this has a 0 slope because I didn't go up or down, but I can walk it. My furthest one here, which is my vertical line, I can't walk this. This is like a cliff. You can't walk on the cliff. You can't ski on the cliff. So this one is an undefined slope. You need to memorize your special cases. I suggest not trying to do them the same as the other ways. Draw your pictures and refer to your pictures. So going to example 8 and number 9, you'll notice that both of these problems are given 2 points. So start by writing down your slope formula so that the more you write it down, the more it's going to be in your head. So be careful again on the order. So I've got a -5 minus a -3, 4 minus 2. Always double check. This is what I always suggest, and you'll notice I didn't change any signs. The point 4, -5 is a point. The point 2, -3 is a point. So now I'm going to simplify. So I have a -5 plus 3 on the top. That gives me a -2 in the numerator. I have 4 minus 2 on the bottom, which gives me a 2 in the denominator. My slope for this problem is a -1. If I were to plot these 2 points, I would see that my rise over my run is going to be a -1, and I am going downhill on the drawing. Going to number 9, again, start off by writing your formula down. The more you write it down, the more you're going to have it memorized. So I have 6 minus 4, -2 minus -2. Always, always, always double check. From the bottom up, -2, 6 is a point, -2, 4 is a point. Now I can simplify. In the numerator, 6 minus 4 is 2. In the denominator, I have negative 2 plus 2 because the sign's, again, subtracting the opposite. That gives me 2 over 0. This is undefined. This is a super easy one for y'all to make careless mistakes on. So on any time you're getting a special case, I would quickly draw the picture. So I have the point negative 2, 4, which is here, and I have the point negative 2, 6, which is here. That is my vertical line. That's my cliff. I cannot ski it, so that's an undefined slope. If you're ever not sure on your special cases, especially, draw the picture out. Going to number 10, 11, and 12, all of these are given an equation. So we have y equals mx plus b is the format we want to use. I see a lot of people go the wrong direction on here. They try to find 2 points. If you're given 2 points, use that slope formula. If you're not, you know you need to put in the form of y equals mx plus b form. Number 10 is already in the form. So the coefficient of the x is my slope. Be careful, it's not 2x, it's 2. The point 0, comma, negative 10 is my y-intercept. As long as it's solved for y, you can pull this directly off. Number 11 is not solved for y, so the first step I need to do is solve it for y. This is not new. So we're going to subtract 2x from both sides. Gives me negative 4y equals a negative 2x plus 12. I'm going to divide every piece by a negative 4, and I get y equals positive 1/2 x minus 3. Be very careful of your signs. Super easy to not do your signs correct on this one. You're dividing by a negative 4, and that's why it changed my signs. So my coefficient of my x is my slope. The point, which is really important, 0, negative 3, is my y-intercept. Now going to our last one for this type, I get y minus 3 equals 0. This is a special case because I only have one variable. So the first thing you need to do is make it to where you've solved for y. This means I have a y-intercept because it's y equals. So I have the point 0, comma 3. That means this is my line. My y-intercept is 0, 3. My slope, I could walk this line. I don't go up and down, so I have a 0 slope. Another way to see it, again, is when you have y equals 3, that's y equals 0x plus 3. But that only works for this special case, so just be careful. Always sketch your picture when it's a special case. Going to number 13, it asks you to write the equation. In this class, we are only given one form for an equation, y equals mx plus b. When you take intermediate algebra, you'll be given another form too. But we're just literally plugging it in. That's it. So people make this much more challenging than it is. Slope is negative 3. Y-intercept, which is my b coordinate, is negative 2. That's my answer. That's it. That's all they wanted you to do. Now the last 2 problems, they actually want you to use the slope intercept to graph. This is where y'all have got to be careful on your test. If it asks for your x and y intercepts to graph, you have to use those 2 points. This section says use your slope intercept to graph. So they want you to know in A that my slope is 1/4 and my y-intercept is the point 0, negative 3. So we're going to start at my y-intercept. That's my first point. They then want you to use that slope is change in y over change in x. So this means positive 1 y value means go up 1. 4 being my positive x value, it means go to the right 4. Again, the numerator is my y, so I'm going up 1. My denominator is my x, so I'm going down, I'm going to the right 4. So I'm going to go up 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and plot my point. It should be a positive slope, so I should be going uphill. Going to our last one, which is y equals 3x. This throws a lot of people off. there's nothing there. So that means my y-intercept is the point 0, 0, the origin. But there's a lot of people off because it's my x-intercept and my y-intercept. My slope for this problem is 3. We can write it as 3 over 1. So that's change in x in the denominator, change in y in the numerator. So change in y is going positive, so I'm going 3 up. Change in x is 1 positive, so I'm going 3 to the right. So I'm going to go 3 up, 1, 2, 3, and 1 to the right. May have said that wrong, so I'm just going to repeat it. 3 being positive on the top, I'm going to go 3 up. 1 being positive in the denominator means I'm going to go 1 to the right. It is a positive slope, so I should be skiing uphill on this problem. So for every unit, I'm going 3 units up and 1 unit to the right. 3 units up, 1 unit to the right. That's what slope is. It's my elevation of the problem. If the problem doesn't tell you how to graph it, you can use slope-intercept. But please, please be careful. It will mark you wrong if it asks for you to graph using intercepts and you do not plot both of the intercepts.